Hi Taurus, welcome to the full moon in Gemini reading for December 7th, 2022. It's a cold moon. Well, that's what they call it. I'm doing something a little bit different. I am choosing a major arcana card for your theme for the next 2 weeks with this full moon. And that will kind of color the rest of the cards. It's the energy that is happening on an internal level that's coloring the outside world, that's coloring the material world. So they work nicely together, and you can understand what it is you're learning and why you're learning it, or why things are happening to you, and what it's doing to you on an internal level. And I think that's important. So you have the Magician. That's pretty nice. This is manipulating matter. It's interesting that I said that. It is a manipulating manner, but it is also manipulating matters, or matter itself. What you think about, you bring about with the Magician. It's the manifestation card, but it is the soul that has become conscious on a very, very deep level. And so there's something that you may have become conscious of lately that maybe you weren't before. Let's have a look. Let's see what's going on, or what it is that you're creating. But the idea here is to become conscious of what it is you're creating. And at that point, once you do that and you know that that is your consciousness that's creating, then you can align your consciousness with what it is that you want to create and make it even stronger. The full moon closes out situations, so let's look and see what's being closed out here. You have the King of Cups. This is my entrepreneur card. It is the Cancer card. This can be somebody you are dealing with. It can be, I feel like it's you, to be honest with you. And I'll say that because the King of Cups is master of his emotions. And the Magician will use the thought and emotion to create. However, he will align them. He won't let his emotions get the better of him. He will raise his frequency, his emotional energy, to match his thought of creating, and that takes a lot of energy. With that comes temperance. So there is a change, there's a slow change with this. Temperance is not quick, but it is, interestingly enough, it's turning dross into gold, lead into gold. So we're kind of polishing up our interior a little bit. With the King of Cups, this can be that you want to create a business for yourself. That's what the King of Cups often does. I do want to pull another card for that. And the Temperance card is my Sagittarius card, or, Sagittarius, or water, indeed. Hold on. Ten of Wands. So you are getting somewhere. You're going slowly because you're kind of carrying the weight of responsibility with you here. So you don't really want to rush anything. You're being super, super, super careful about something and very cautious about it and just taking it one step at a time. So I feel like you are kind of closing out this period of taking on a lot of responsibility, and you're almost there. But you're doing it by controlling your emotion. I wanted to say manipulating, and I think that keeps coming up because of the Magician. And there's nothing wrong with that as long as it's your own energy and you're doing it in the right direction. But the best way to go about this is with patience, because things are changing, first of all, very much on an internal level that will reflect itself outwardly. And with the Ten of Wands, 10 is always the end of a cycle while beginning a new one. And so I think there's things that you're kind of finishing up before you move on to this next manifestation, before this next idea. And you want to make sure that everything is neatly bundled and tied up before you move on. So you'll probably be doing that these next 2 weeks, Taurus. You could also be working with a King of Cups. Again, my Cancer card, but this is somebody who's emotional, emotionally intelligent, but also quite intelligent themselves. And they really like history. So they're big history buffs. Okay, so you have some people around you. You're behaving like the Page of Swords, which is, ta-da, Taurus. So you are feeling you, which is really good with the Magician card because you know yourself, you know what it is you want, you don't have to pretend to be anything but yourself. Taurus is ruled by Venus, and so, well, let's have a look first. Why would I ask that? They're usually very business-minded people, but also home and hearth. And maybe their business is so that they can keep a beautiful home and hearth, that kind of thing. Let's have a look here. So you have the Five of Wands. Okay, so there's a lot of fire around you. Five of Wands is the Lord of Strife. So what's happening is that there can be a lot of competing ideas or people who are trying to, in this case, manipulate the game. The manipulation keeps coming up again, and I guess that's because of the Magician. And again, I don't want to make that sound bad. It's just that everybody is putting themselves in place. It's a chess game in this case, right? Is what we're looking at in this card. It's a game. You don't have to take it that seriously, although I imagine Taurus would. So you're kind of putting your pieces in place, but these can be conflicting ideas. It can be your own internal conflicts. And the interesting thing is that they're all moving in towards the same goal, but they just have different ways of getting there. And I think that's maybe why you're taking your time. You want to make sure that these conflicting ideas find their balance. And again, that could be conflicting passions or thoughts, ideas on an internal level. It can also be people outwardly, but these cards are you and how you're dealing with the situation. So in terms of the strife that you may be dealing with right now, you could just be waiting for things to settle down just a little bit before you move on. And again, you have quite a bit of responsibility on your shoulders that you maybe want to offload before you add more to it. The outcome is the High Priestess. You get to understand and learn. Oh, that's interesting. You get to understand and learn the machinations behind the situation, how things work, what's going on behind the scenes. And you have the Magician and you have the High Priestess. So that is your conscious energy and something deeper, the void, the unknown. Some people can call it subconscious. I think it's the higher self. I think it's something beyond consciousness that we feel, we know, but we don't see it. You know, it's not our physical reality. It just goes beyond that. You could be secretive. I don't think I think the King of Cups is quite stoic, and he never shows all of his cards. So I do think that there can be some secrets, or you're keeping things under your hat. You're not letting everybody know everything at this moment. What your new idea is. So you see you're clearing things up here. You want to make them neat and tidy before you move on to this new idea. And you're not telling anybody about it just yet, or you're keeping the details under wraps, that's for sure. But with the High Priestess there, you kind of want to understand how things work first, before you let the cat out of the bag. And I mean, you're putting the pieces on the board here. You're getting everything in its proper place first, before you begin this new venture, this new passion, this new idea that you could be working on. I want to pull one more card for that. King of Wands. All right. That's my adventurous, pioneering spirit of Aries with this card. So you could be working with a couple of people here. I can see that. You have a lot of people around you, and thus the players, right? Putting them all in their right positions, in their right spots, making sure there's no contention between anybody as you're, manipulating the situation. I feel like this is something close to your heart. What does Spirit want you to know? The Fool. How nice. It goes very well with the King of Wands, who is an adventurer. It's a new adventure, and it will be filled with adventure. It will be filled with promise. There can be pitfalls. There's challenges and rewards with everything. We know this going in, and but it's kind of like no venture, no gain. You can sit still, but what will that bring you? Nothing. It will bring you nothing. So challenges have their rewards, and rewards have their challenges. That's life. But the Fool is saying, set off on a new journey. Go ahead, you can do it. I do feel like you're balancing out your emotions in the next 2 weeks. Lifting some of the burden from your soul, your spirit, is my feeling. I know it sounds dramatic, but that's what I'm feeling. And then you'll put things in their proper perspective, put your strife in its place, and begin again. Ooh, I got chills, Taurus. I think this is really nice. I don't know. It's deep. It feels deep to me. It feels emotional with that King of Cups, and the King of Cups has an emotional depth to them. And if you've been feeling any sadness, which is kind of welling up in me right now, see what you can do about lifting some of this responsibility off your back. You can always pick it up later if you want to, but I think it might be a little bit heavy for you now. I do have a feeling that in the next 2 weeks you'll kind of let that burden lift a little bit, and you'll be ready to start something new by the end of the 2 weeks. Sometimes it's 2 to 4 weeks, could be till the next full moon. It's not my feeling. With the Magician there, I think you're doing what you can to move things along. But with the Temperance card there, it is saying, be kind to yourself. Take the time. Okay, Taurus, I hope this has been helpful. I've enjoyed reading for you. I'll be back in 2 weeks with a new moon, and I'm doing the dailies. I also have something new coming out in regards to journaling with the tarot. So if you're interested, keep a lookout. I will announce it shortly. Okay. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it. Take good care.